I think we're live now. So we've got Andrea here. We're in another Healer Village event, Spring into Health, right? And we've been talks and tips and group panel discussions, mini healings on enhancing vitality. Yesterday we had Steph talking about spiritual healing, and now we've got Andrea. And I'm really curious actually, because we're going to be talking about nourishing intuitive vitality, especially, and we're talking is like there are going to be flavors of sustainable business because that's one of Andrea's specialties. But I think it's a good example because to build a sustainable business is not as easy as it sounds. It might be easy. Maybe Andrea's going to tell us, but most of the time, people who have businesses actually deplete themselves and burn out. So it's a good example anyway, even if you don't have a sustainable business or you're thinking of building one. I think it's a good topic to be talking about because it's a great example. So I think, so Andrea is, she's the founder of the Academy of Magnetic Intuition, also a transformation coach and acupuncturist. The first thing I want to be asking actually is, what is intuitive vitality, like your definition, and so we can have a context to start the beautiful conversation.
Okay, intuitive vitality. So I see intuitive vitality, how can I explain? Okay, I see that we're all born with vital. I've got a background with acupuncture and qigong and holistic health and manifesting over 30 years. And qi is the vital life force. So qi is the vital life force that's in every human being, all animals, plants, the universe, keeps the whole universe going. And in Chinese medicine, qi is unlimited, like it's ongoing, it's always there. Like it's the unlimited side of our being, and our finite body dies, but this qi keeps on going forever, right?
Yeah.
So in this picture here, that's like the unlimited qi of us, the life force, right? Yep. It's empty. It's kind of unlimited.
They talk about it in Tao, right? In the Tao, they talk about it starts off like that, and then it splits, and then it splits more and more until it becomes this physicality. And that's the whole concept. Yes, that it starts off with that, the void.
So that's the qi, the vital life force. And then because that vital life force is completely like unlimited, from my experience, it talks to us through our intuition.
Nice.
So I don't know if that makes sense, but I mean, and Leo is an amazing intuitive coach herself, so she understands that. But your intuition, this is from my experience, your intuition is like your quiet voice or inner spiritual GPS that shows you the next step to take to bring back your mojo, to release depression, to release pain, any blockages or health issues you've got in your body. Leah can talk from her medical intuitive. Any blockages, physical health issues, mental health issues, emotional health issues, spiritual health issues. Is it your depletion coming from your boyfriend? Is it coming from your work? Is it coming from electromagnetic energy? Is it coming from your posture? Is it coming from lack of sleep, lack of food, lack of exercise? Is it coming, like, where's it coming from?
Yeah. And we talked about it a few days ago, right? And that conversation, you were there, and this talk about some connection to something greater, to source. You're talking about the same thing here, but in a context now of life force and vitality and that qi. And then that intuitive connection, definitely agree. It's a connection to something greater. So, okay, beautiful.
Yeah, and so then that's the reason why we get depleted, because we're mostly listening to our conditioned self, that the beliefs that the conditioning we brought up from our parents or from other people, because, basically anyone from 45 years up possibly, or 40 years up older, has had a conditioning of fear-based conditioning. Like even my flatmate, like he's quite a bit older than me, but he remembers rations, food being rationed. And even
Mhm.
I've got friends that are quite a bit older than me, but they were actually didn't have enough food for a few days at times, right?
Mhm.
So that is not that far away. So if you're from 40 years up, you probably had a lot of conditioning around fear, around fear and survival, fight and flight. We've got to work hard to make money. We've got to work hard to get results. We've got to work hard to take care of ourselves.
Mhm.
And also lack, because there may not, if we don't take care of it, work hard, we will have lack of money, lack of clients, lack of food, lack of resources. I'm talking about this on a DNA level. I'm not talking about it consciously. You may not know it consciously, but on the nervous system DNA level, that has impacted all of us. And then COVID, we had 2 years of COVID, and that would have amplified it even more, especially with the whole
Makes
world.
sense.
This is just my what I was picking up energetically. The whole world every day on the news was about people dying and people getting sick, and you got to be careful, you'll die. I even had one of my clients as a 5-year-old child that would come home and would think that they were going to die because they hadn't washed their hands, the conditioning they got from school. So what I'm saying is that the whole world over those 2 years was going through fight and flight, and our nervous systems were more stressed, our anxiety is higher, and the fear was amplified with all the media and all the news and everything else, right?
Yeah.
And so this has been, I mean, more people are coming to me for anxiety than they've ever done now, and probably many other health practitioners are saying the same thing, that mental health is something that we've all dealing with. I'm also working part-time for Mind Blank, which is mental health, and we're working in schools, and some of these children are going through suicide thoughts, right? And they're 12 and 14.
And the whole fear
So
thing,
it's there.
The whole fear thing makes sense though, because when you're in fear, you're in contraction, which is the exact opposite of before, when we were talking about the void and source and expansion and vitality and connection. So that contraction, and you're saying conditioning, right? All this conditioning that we're not even realizing that we're getting more and more contracted, falling into, when you're childhood, you don't realize what you pick up, all the conditioning from your parents, and you work with that, right? Ancestral things as well.
Yes.
And you're talking about, even with your own healing journey, was things with your ancestry that you were coming to grips with, bringing in healing, connecting with the greater self rather than limits that we've passed on to our children. If you wanted to say anything about that quickly.
How I cleared I had a genetic chronic skin condition from over 30 years, actually most of my life. And at one stage, it was 2 or 3 months where I was nonstop scratching all over my body. I couldn't stop scratching. It was like I was torn between two parts of me, my Chinese kind of people pleasing, taking care of everybody else first person. And then the Western side of it was completely zany, out there, ahead of her time, didn't fit in, like innovative, right? And so that part was at war. And when I really owned and remembered who I really was, my infinite intuitive true self, that the skin condition that was all over my whole face, my whole body, everything wasn't truly who I was. It was just conditioning that I had taken on, and my grandfather had it, my father and my brother had it, that it was in my genetics. It wasn't me, wasn't who I truly was. Overnight, it was gone.
And that was connected to that connection to that greater self of you that is connected to vitality, to that source, to that intuition, and all that would have culminated together, right, for a powerful healing, like a transformation, right? That's what you're talking about.
It was a transformation. And I mean, believe me, I've done a lot of healings and a lot of working on myself, and acupuncture and healing, and NSR, neuro stress release, everything, physical, mental, emotional, 5 healing modality. I mean, I've done it all, and manifesting and everything else. But the bottom line, it wasn't really until I really, really remembered at a soul level who I truly was and how powerful I truly was. I thought, if I created this, I can uncreate it.
And this mojo, you mentioned mojo earlier, right? Like, if people aren't connected to that part of themselves, an obvious symptom will be that loss of mojo, because it's your true self that is connected to the mojo, to that inspiration, to that source. And the
reason we lose our mojo, I've realized, and this is what used to happen to me, because I was highly sensitive. When I was a little girl, someone would say you're stupid, and I would be in pain for 6 months. Okay, you know what I mean? That's one thing. So I was a psychic sponge to my parents' stress, everybody else's stress. And what I learned was, and I know a lot of us that are healers are quite psychic, is that we lose our power to other people. We lose our power to society, to conditioning, to societal norms, even to the doctor sometimes, or specialists. We can lose our power.
Even to healers.
I know,
yeah.
And so I'm not saying that you shouldn't go to the doctor if you've broken your arm or if you've got cancer. I'm saying you need to still go and get medical help as well. But don't forget your own power. Get the health professionals and the natural practitioners and the healers and that. Get the help you need. But remember your own power. And that's what I like to do with my clients. That's why they get such transformative results, because I remind them of their own power. I'm just a support, guiding and helping, but their own connection with their own vital life force is what heals them.
Yes.
That's actually that's really become clear. It's their connection, reconnection, their infinite vital life force is actually what heals them.
Yeah,
it's
very
not me.
true.
I'm just this vehicle. And so when we remember that, that regardless if we're having a bad day, regardless if we're feeling depressed, regardless if, we're completely got chronic fatigue and we're on the bed, we can't move, regardless of how ill we are, that vital life force is always with you.
Yeah.
It's true. Alive. Why you're still alive, it's always with you. So even if you're lying in bed sick, you can still choose to feel the vital life force. You can still do qigong. You can still do stillness qigong. You still build your qi.
Yeah.
If you forget that, you'll lose your deplete. You'll deplete your qi. You'll lose your power.
You'll lose, and that's a good.
That's why I'm teaching people about the Academy of Magnetic Intuition, because if I teach the practitioners and coaches, then they can actually teach their clients and their family, and that's generational confidence, wellness, and intuition ongoing, because people have to remember who they truly are. Otherwise, you're going to be totally lose your mojo, your ups and anxiety, your depression, ups and downs every time you watch the news, every time you go to a scary movie, every time your boyfriend's having a hard day, every time your mum's in stress. You're going to be constantly up and down, up and down, up and down, completely lose your vitality.
And I was thinking about this recently, about, because you don't actually lose your power. Like, if you like, it feels like it, the experience is that you've become powerless, right? But you don't lose it because it's always there. But then what is it that you do to inverse that experience that's always there for you, and actually create the experience that you forget that's there? Like, I don't know if you have any insights on that, because that's what has been pondering. Like, I go, you know, those moments where you're like, you feel like nothing's working, and then you flip some switch, and then suddenly you find the right thing, and then everything starts synchronizing, and you go, well, that that mustn't have been a reality, but I created that on some level, on some unconscious level. I don't know if you have some insights about that. It might link into why like what depletes our intuitive vitality. It might all link into
What's the
that
exact question?
discussion.
Sorry, Leah.
It's more like, because we don't actually lose the power. The power is always there for us, but we do create the experience that we've lost it. And I wonder how we do that, or how that does something on a chi level actually happen to create that experience, because it's quite potent, right? When you flip the switch, which means it's always there for you, but you do experience, like when you're in it, you really do experience that you're powerless when you're in the story, until you remember. And it's like, is there something that's happening on a life force level or energetic meridian level that kind of creates that?
Well, I don't really know the answer to that question, if you want the truth.
I don't know. It's just,
but I've been feeling into it because the good thing is that because I've been doing a lot of trainings, and when people ask me a question, my intuitive answer, and I don't know if this is true, and I haven't got any scientific backing, if anybody's evidence-based, but the fact that you're physically alive, everybody knows that. That's evidence. Okay, number one. That's the thing. What I truly believe is that we're actually spiritual beings, unlimited spiritual beings with a vital life force in a human body, a finite body. But we have the gift of this life so we can experience the infinite while we're alive. That's just my experience. Oh, and I've been going with it for meditative time for most of my life, okay? Is that we're spiritual beings with an infinite soul, in a way, with a human body, a finite human body that's often got a lot of conditioning. I mean, 99% of what we carry is not ours, right? Most of it's conditioning from everybody, schoolmates, teachers, family, friends, society, everything. And that's where we lose our power and we lose our chi. So this is what my experience, and I can't quite, but this is what I believe happens, is that we're given the choice to be conscious of the divine within us while we're alive, or we can just die and merge with it. So we're given the choice of heaven on earth now, if we want, or we can just merge with it. Now, I know that's pretty radical. I can't believe I'm saying that. And the bridge is a decision, conscious decision. So like animals and, animals and mammals, they just instinctual and they just do it anyway, right? But human beings have the power of choice. So just imagine the infinite true self, intuitive infinite true self is there, and the finite conditioned self is there. So how do we bridge the gap? We make a decision. You make a decision. When I made a decision many years ago that I couldn't live in this reality anymore as it was. So just to cut a long story short, I had this boyfriend. We went out for a year and a half. He was on a spiritual search, and we used to go dating, and then he ended up staying to 1 a.m, chatting to my mum about spiritual things and everything. Anyway, one day he hangs up on the phone. He breaks up with me on the phone after a year and a half. I go through living hell for the next 3 months. What's wrong with me? I'll never find another partner. What did I do wrong? I must be worth nothing. How can I get them back? You know how that, as soon as you lose someone, you want to get them back. How many people go through that? They just want to get them back. What can I do to get them back? How can I get them to love me? Okay, need, right? Absolute need. After 3 months of living hell in my mind, night and day, one day I'm in the shower and I go, stuff this. I want to find a way, whether I'm a man or not, to be happy. I want to find a way to be happy whether I'm with a man or not. That totally changed my life, because then I went on this spiritual search to find my true self, to go within. And that's when my life changed.
Mm.
So that's the decision. When I made that decision, I made the decision to bridge the gap. I made it.
Decision is powerful. It is,
Yeah.
and I can see how that is a really strong link to connecting with your power. When you not just, I think I might do a try, like I've decided.
Yeah, I've
It's
decided.
a very powerful thing. Yeah.
Look, the reason why it was so powerful was I could not live in that pain and that mental pain and that conditioning forever anymore. I was in living hell. I wanted to die or I wanted to find it. That's it. Okay. I
have a
couldn't.
very similar thing that happens to me occasionally, not from a breakup and stuff, but I do have moments where I call it, like, I'll say it in a polite way, F this shit. Oh, no, I meant to do it polite. Anyway, it's not polite. But yeah, like I have those moments where I go, hang on, I'm not putting up with this anymore. And something shifts. And then suddenly there's all this energy available to me. The next step is obvious. I'm in this. And it takes me a while to get to that, but it sounds very similar to what you're talking about. And so then you have also tips on what strengthens your intuitive vitality. I think we're talking about similar things. Is there more things that you have for strengthening, or is that the key thing to strengthen your intuitive vitality?
This is just because you was asking me how do we bridge the gap, and for me,
Yes.
it was a decision.
Yes.
And it's the same with when my skin was that bad and I was bleeding all over. I had no income for 2 months. I was a single woman. I was living hell day and night, couldn't sleep, couldn't function, just nonstop scratching like an epileptic fit, like out of the control. I couldn't live in that reality anymore. I made a decision. I'm bridging the gap again. That's it. And when you make that decision, that's when it seems like every bit of miracle comes your way.
Yeah.
The miracles happen. That was a total miracle. Flawless skin. I said, I've got flawless skin, and I have flawless skin like I got today. Right?
Yeah.
Flawless. One day I may share a photo of what I look like, but I don't really, I'm not really quite there yet.
No.
But flawless. That is the power. And that is the key to essential intuitive vitality.
Yeah, connecting back to your power, making the decision. Yeah.
And I'm not talking about having so much energy that you're going to just, like work for, 40 hours for the whole week and not get any sleep and not take care of yourself. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about your intuitive vitality, but you still got to work with the ebb and flow of life, which is like the yin and yang, like the sun is the yang. That's like the work and the business and the doing. But the yin is the moon, which is like the being, the receiving and the nourishment. So the yin of the tree roots, the soil and everything nourishes the yang of the tree trunk, the branches. So your yin, which is your sleep, nourish your business, which is your yang.
Yeah. And that's one of the things entrepreneurs do the least, right?
Most
sleep.
entrepreneurs do yang, 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 yang. And then they
work, what is it?
All their health.
120 hours per week. You got to sleep. Like you have to cut into your sleep. That's exactly what it's.
Yeah. Well, some people say they'll die. When they die, they'll sleep. But that's what I've heard some people say. But honestly, there's so much ways to do it much more magnetically. When you do work less and more intuitively, you do double, triple the amount of productivity effortlessly than when you're efforting and doing it, because you're doing it from your conditioned self, and your conditioned self doesn't have a program for ease. Your conditioned self only has a program for what you've created before. So if you've only if you've only ever made 10,000 a month, it doesn't have a program for 50,000 a month. How are you going to go there? You have to let go of everything you think you know to get to the 50,000. Like you don't have a program in your mind for that, and you're expecting your mind to give you the energy of the 50K a month. To be the 50K a month, you can't go from logic completely. It has to be, you have to step in to that infinite self that is 50K a month and embody it, mind, body, and heart. Breathe it, speak it, what you wear, what you do, how you think, what actions does it take, what sort of, morning habits, routines, exercises, what is this lifestyle of that 50K a month entrepreneur, businesswoman? You can't do it from an old energy.
Yeah, it makes sense, because a lot of our conditioning is already concreted when you're a young child, and obviously you pick up stuff, genetically in your ancestry as well, but most of it's concreted then. So then if you go back to your limited mind, you're basically asking like a 2-3-year-old how you can solve this issue, and it doesn't have capacity to, it only has emotional reactions to deal with, and it's very simplistic then. And that's, you said you had some slides, did you want
Yes.
to quickly go through them, because
Yes.
we're getting into time, and give some more gold to the viewers.
Okay, great. So the secret to nourishing your intuitive vitality for sustainable business. So just briefly about me, I came from a workaholic parents. I'm New Zealand-born Chinese, second generation. My parents had 5 businesses over 15 years. They majorly burnt out. I did 7 businesses over 30 years, looking for an easier, more fulfilling way, right? More abundant way, going within, studying wellness, manifesting, and going within. I'm a founder of the Academy of Magnetic Intuition and the 6 Steps to Intuitive Client Transformation Cycle. I magnetized a very successful business in 1 year in a new country as a single woman with little funds, no database, and no social media following. I cleared a genetic chronic skin condition naturally overnight with no medication or operations. And I've magnetized about $70,000 worth of cash, gifts, business opportunities, holidays, and so much more. I love meditative time, dancing, tango dancing, stunning views, luxury. I love luxury, blowing bubbles, scenery, bushwalking, heartwarming conversations, being creative, and expressing my zany sense of humor. And I've got about 30 years international experience in all of this, and wellness, acupuncture, qigong, massage, so much, speaking, and a contributing author. So this is the magnetic sustainable business tree from Andrea's son's perspective, that the yin, which is the inner business, is the tree root, soil, and fertilizer, and the worms, and how healthy the soil is how strong those tree roots are going to grow. If that tree doesn't have strong, healthy tree roots and soil, it can be taken over by the strangler fig. Does anyone know what a strangler fig is? It's a tree that comes and surrounds the host tree and kills the original tree, right? And from my belief or my experience is that was what was happening when I broke it with my boyfriend, of living in 3 months of mental hell. It was starting to take over the host of the soul of Andrea, right? And same when I had that chronic skin condition, it was taking over the host of me, right? So, so I believe that we need to build 4 major habits to build the magnetic habits. Physical habits like sleep, food, breathing, qigong, all that other stuff. Mindset, remembering who we truly are, our infinite true self, and making the decision, of what we truly want. Energetic habits, does this belong to me? Does this belong to other people? And intuitive habits. Okay, and following our gut level nudge or feel to do things. Then the outer business is what everybody else in the world is focusing on, which is the branch, the trees, the foliage, the marketing, the clients, the money. How much money am I making? Am I getting a return on investment? But what's the most strongest part of the tree? the branches and the foliage and the leaves, or the tree roots, the soil, and what's underneath?
Yeah. Yeah, and it needs to be established first before the leaves and the branches can even grow. So
yeah, and the thing is that the tree can have a big storm. The tree can fall over in a storm, but the tree will still survive. It will regrow again. That's what builds sustainable business. That is what builds sustainable business. And the mindset,
I've seen pictures of it.
the mindset is 80% of it. 80% of it is the mindset. That's what helped me build the sustainable business in that wellness business in a new country with no database and no money and no social media, was mindset, right? And when the mindset's clear, the vitality is going to improve, the intuition is going to improve, your health's going to improve, your focus is going to improve, right? Okay, so this is one little way that you can look at how to nourish your magnetism.
We'll probably have to skip through this bit quickly, but we'll keep it up so that people who are on the video can stop, and because we don't have time to. I remember doing this in your group, and it was really cool. So definitely people stop the video and
just pause the video and watch it. Basically, your magnetism is what nourishes your vitality, because you've got to have vitality to be magnetic as well. Okay, so just add up your birth date numbers, and then you'll get the yang numbers. And then the yang numbers is the energy of the gifts that you were born, the sole purpose of what you're meant to be doing. So my yang numbers are 7, truth seeker. And I'm meant to be doing more meditation and writing and solitude and own my truth, right? And the yin numbers is the numbers that are missing from your birth chart, right? Yeah. So mine is a 2, so it's a lot of physical pleasure, massage. See, massage was perfect for me, beauty and luxury. So you can just pause and have a look at that and work out your yin and yang numbers.
Yeah. And so the yang numbers are like, you break down all your birth date and add them all up and then bring them down to a single number, unless it's 11, 22, 33. And then yin is all the non-numbers, add them up and break it down. And go back to that chart that Andrea had and find your numbers, and that's your tips on your personal way to nourish your yang.
Remember, this is from what you were born with, but you can transform anything you're born with, including your human design chart, I believe, including your genes, including your numerology. Like it's just a little bit of a movement in the general direction that could help open doorways, but eventually you don't need any of that. It's just that if you need a bit of support, sometimes this helps. Don't let it. You got
to start somewhere.
Don't let it limit you.
Yes, I think that's your key tip, right? Don't let things limit you, right?
Yeah, don't let it limit you, because that'll deplete you as well, trying to figure all that out. So what I'm offering is a VIP one-on-one 60-minute intuitive vitality reading for sustainable business. Normally, I don't offer single sessions now. It's minimum of a 1-month package with 4 sessions in 1 month. But I've decided for this, just to offer this for Leah's program. So after 60 minutes, you will know where you are depleting your vitality. And we'll look at the practical steps you can do today to strengthen your intuitive vitality. We may even do a bit of an intuitive human design numerology reading as well, whatever's needed for you. The first 10 people to book is 164 Australian, and then after that, the 11th person will pay $199. So you can book via PayPal. There's the link there, or text me. And then the Linktree link shows all my freebies, my transformational stories and packages.
Wonderful. Thank you, Andrea. So I'll put the link in the comments, in the post, so that you can find an easy way over. But that was really fascinating. I really enjoyed that conversation of intuitive vitality first, because I was very curious about that, but then also really tapping into that true self. It's very powerful. Is there one tip or one thing that you want to share as that last thing, like to consolidate this conversation and all the juicy stuff you've shared today?
One tip.
Or just a repeat
Okay,
of,
so no matter whatever's happening, no matter whatever's happening in your life, just put one hand on the stomach, one hand on the heart, 2 feet flat on the ground, see your tree roots straight into the ground. Breathe in relaxation, breathe out stress. So this I am meditation. So breathing in I, breathing out am. Do that till your mind is really clear, and just remember who you truly are. The I is the infinite, the am is the conditioned self.
I like
That's
that.
it.
Thank you.
So,
Thanks so much, Andrea. Beautiful. Fascinating conversation. People rewatch it again. You probably missed something. Maybe your conditioned self wants to cover it up for a bit because, you know, it's uncomfortable, right, for the conditioned self to move out of that. It's holding on to, when you're in fear, right, you want to hold on to it even though it's not doing you any good. It's not nourishing your vitality or intuitive vitality. So very beautiful conversation. Thank you so much. Yeah, we have more interviews coming up. Check out Steph's one yesterday. On Saturday, we've got boosting vitality of voice. We've got cultivating physical vitality Sunday, and impact of stress on vitality on Monday. So check them out. If you have any questions for Andrea, please put them in the comments. She'll circle back and check them out. She can answer them for you, or maybe you'd like to have a conversation, or click on the link, check out her work, because she's got lots of juicy stuff there for people to check out, you know, to aid in your vitality. So thank you very much, Andrea.
so much, Leah,
thank you everybody for watching. Yeah, and I will see you guys around.
We'll see you around.
Bye.
Bye.